Ladies and gentlemen, Mantle of Battle Harmony is now working in PvP. In case you didn't know, it wasn't before. The most recent hotfix released for Destiny 2 earlier this week, otherwise known as the one that nerfed Dirty Behemoth Titans, also announced that Mantle of Battle Harmony will now grant a small amount of super energy when defeating a Guardian with weapons matching the damage type of your super. And you get a small damage bonus for doing basically the same thing when your super is active, but for a shorter duration than you would see in PvE. Now, Bungie didn't come out and explicitly say if Battle Harmony was bugged or if it was just intended not to work in PvP initially. I'm gonna go with intentional. Maybe they just needed a little more time to figure out how to tune it properly. But either way, I covered this exotic once already and went over it pretty well on the PvE side of the game. And my outlook on this exotic in that respect remains unchanged. But with it working in the Crucible now, how much benefit can we see from it? And is this an exotic worth equipping? I've played with it a good bit since these changes were implemented. And I can tell you the answer to that question without a shadow of a doubt is maybe. I'll gather the data, run the numbers, give you my take on things, but this is a decision that you're gonna have to make for yourself. And if at any point during the course of this video you find it useful, helpful, or enjoyable, feel free to leave it a like. And consider subscribing to the Ironworker Gaming channel, but only if you feel the content is worthy of your support. But let's get into things and see what Battle Harmony can do. Alright, here's my Warlock wearing Battle Harmony, and looking like a can of grape soda. And that's not a knock against grape soda. I haven't had it in quite a while, but that stuff's delicious. Anyway, first thing we need to take a look at is this part right here. Stating simply that you get some super energy for downing a Guardian with an elemental weapon matching your subclass. And in case you were wondering, weapons with varying elemental types, like Hardlight or Borealis, will work with Battle Harmony, as will any weapon with the Osmosis perk. And in case you're thinking about pairing Thresh with Battle Harmony, Thresh doesn't work in PvP. But we need some way to test our PvP super gains, so I decided to try it out on 3 different intellect tiers, 2, 6, and 10. Each have their own base cooldown, but anytime we defeat an opposing Guardian, we will get some super energy. So we need a control. To start out, I downed 10 Guardians on each of the 3 intellect tiers with my kinetic steady hand, and recorded the results. At tier 2, the base cooldown is 5 minutes and 43 seconds. After downing 10 Guardians, my super was up in 3 minutes and 59 seconds. At tier 6, the base cooldown is 4 minutes and 18 seconds. This was reduced to 3 minutes and 1 second. And at tier 10, the base cooldown is 3 minutes and 48 seconds, being reduced to 2 minutes and 40 seconds with 10 kills. So we have our control established. Now time for the big payoff. Repeating the exact same process, but now downing the enemy Guardians with a Void bottom dollar. But not too quickly, because remember, Energy Siphon has a cooldown timer on it, and this applies in PvP as well. If you down an enemy Guardian while this timer is active, you will see super gains on par with a standard kill, but not the improved super gains from Battle Harmony. This probably won't come into play as much in PvP as it does in PvE. Unless, of course, you happen to be someone who spends all their free time testing weapons and perks on friends and family in a private Crucible match. But either way, at tier 2 intellect, after downing 10 enemy players, my super is back up in 3 minutes and 32 seconds. That's a 27 second reduction from the control cooldown. So essentially, this is cutting our super cooldown time by 2.7 seconds with each Guardian downed. And running through the process again at tier 6 intellect, I saw my super fully refreshed in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. That's a 21 second reduction from our control, shaving approximately 2.1 seconds for each kill secured. And finally at tier 10 intellect, after downing 10 Guardians, my super was recharged in 2 minutes and 24 seconds. A 16 second cooldown reduction, rewarding an extra 1.6 seconds for each Guardian killed. So we are seeing diminishing returns as our intellect tiers increase, which is not unexpected. And honestly, we're not reducing our cooldown by all that much with each kill. Again, not unexpected. Bungie needs to be pretty careful with super cooldown times in PvP, as to not break the game. But it's certainly nice that we are seeing some effect from Battle Harmony in this regard. But for the damage increase, quick refresher. To get absorption cells to proc, which is the damage buff that we see when downing a player with an elemental weapon that matches our subclass. First off, your super meter needs to be full. In absorption cells is kill activated and does have an expiration timer. In PvE, the buff had a 6 second duration. In PvP, we're only given a 4 second window to work within. But kills that we secure when the buff is active will add on to the timer. Each Guardian we down while it's procced will add 2 seconds to our window. For the damage increase, we're seeing a flat 20%, just like in PvE. so the damage increase is exactly the same as what we would see from Charged with Light and High Energy Fire, or if we're standing in an Empowering Rift. But this damage is not going to stack with these other external damage buffs. But if you have a weapon-bound damage buff, you will see the benefits from both. So to clarify, Absorption Cells and High Energy Fire. No. Absorption Cells and Rampage. Yes sir. And that should cover all of our functionality aspects. So let's move on to the next section. We'll look at why you might want to use it, and I'll give you my take on things. Alright, as far as the super gains are concerned, a certain type of player is probably going to make good use of this exotic. And by a certain type of player, I mean a good player, an aggressive player, a player who has the ability to amass a healthy amount of kills in a Crucible match. An average or below average player will see some benefit from it, but really the super gains per kill are pretty minor. So if you're not someone securing a ton of kills with your energy or heavy weapon, you might not get as much out of Mantle of Battle Harmony. Let's take me for example. I'm a decent player, but I'm a passive player. Say I get 25 defeats in a Crucible match. Not too bad. And for argument's sake, let's be generous and say that only 5 of those defeats came from assists. So if I'm really focusing on getting kills with my energy weapon, I can really only safely credit myself for probably 10. You gotta figure you're probably gonna get a few kills with your kinetic weapon, maybe some melee kills or some grenade kills thrown in there. You probably burned your super at least once if you got in a bad spot and got some kills off of that. And you gotta factor in any kills that you get while your super meter is full isn't giving you any benefit in this respect. And I'm generally running something around 5 or 6 intellect in the Crucible. So if I'm seeing improved super gains off of 10 kills, and I'm figuring roughly 2 seconds per kill, that's a 20-second reduction in my cooldown. Is that worth it to me? I mean, it's borderline. That being said though, if you're having a round and you're cutting through the enemy team like a hot Fellwinter's crutch through butter, you're gonna see a pretty nice return if you're stacking up 20 plus outright kills with an energy weapon. So my advice would be, assess yourself as a player to see if Battle Harmony is worth equipping in this respect. The damage increase with Absorption Cells though can be pretty nice. Like we talked about earlier, this is a 20% kill activated damage buff for 4 seconds. I view this in the same light as I do Rampage, but you're getting 2 stacks for the price of 1. And you do have the added benefit of the stacking on top of weapon-bound damage buffs. So if you're actually running a weapon with Rampage, 1 kill will give you a 30% damage increase for the next 4 seconds, provided your super meter is full. This also offers a little flexibility when using Charged with Light and High Energy Fire. And if you're not making use of these mods in some way, shape, or form in PvP, you probably should be. This is a brain-dead easy way to get a 20% damage buff with no expiration timer. But you won't always be Charged with Light. Battle Harmony reproduces the same effect anytime you secure a kill, albeit with a timer, but the damage buff is there. So, say you're running a 120 hand cannon and you down an enemy player, his buddy just around the corner will be an easy 2-tap. And honestly, if you don't want to lean on High Energy Fire at all, and you just want to make use of the damage buff provided by Battle Harmony, it's an option. Go ahead and spend those energy points elsewhere. But just remember, for this damage buff to happen, your super meter does need to be topped off. So just like in PvE, there's a strange push and pull here. Are you racing to get your super so that you can use it? Or are you trying to get it quick so you can acquire the damage buff? The 2 separate effects of this exotic are in constant conflict with each other. Your super, without a doubt, is the most powerful tool in your belt in the Crucible. Is it worth hanging on to for a prolonged period of time to achieve a damage buff? That's gonna be your call. The stance that I took on it was, I threw on a shutdown super, like Nova Bomb, and only used it when my hand was forced. So I could make use of that damage buff when I didn't need to use my super, and when it did get cast, hopefully I was able to rack up enough kills to get it back a little bit quicker the next time. And things worked out okay. Do I think I saw enough benefit from this exotic to make it a mainstay in my loadout? No. There's a handful of other exotics that I would rather use in the Crucible that I think I see a bigger upside from. But I'm not you. You have the numbers, you know the information, make an informed decision for yourself. And if you did enjoy this video, please remember to leave it a like and consider subscribing to the Ironworker Gaming channel to see more Destiny 2 content in the very near future. If you'd like to catch me live, I will occasionally be streaming right here on YouTube. And to contact me, you can look for Ironworker814 on Twitter, join our channel Discord, link will be in the description, or comment down below and I will do my best to get back to you. And with all that being said, I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your day to check out this armor breakdown. You guys are awesome, and I will catch you on the next one.